Hi, folks. Thank you again for coming on to Back to Basics for Season 3. Today, we're going to speak with Manuj Aggarwal, and we're going to find out what he's all about. But there's one topic that we are going to be talking about is AI. Now, the question is AI, artificial intelligence, is overhyped, or are we learning and that's why it's overhyped? Well, we'll find out the details as to how dumb are we or how grateful are we to know what AI is all about. And this is what that episode is all about. So let's get on to the episode and get to know him better and the episode. I'll see you there.
So I had a fun conversation with Girish. Before we were on the interview, we had a pre-interview call, and he shared with me about his passion, what he's been doing, and what I understood, like he really, Girish really does his homework to understand what the audience wants, and he has a great ability to drive the conversation during the interview process to extract the right value from the guests. So it has been an amazing experience. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
Hi, folks. Thank you again for coming on to Back to Basics on Season 3. Today, we're going to speak with Manju, and I'm gonna call him Manu throughout the episode, and that's just what it is because we're actually friends now. That's what my guests are. We are all one big happy family, one big community. What we're going to be talking about is artificial intelligence, as people they know as AI. Now the question is it a hoopla as how people they advertise it, or let's go to the real thing as to what actually is artificial intelligence. So this is the right person to go and get in touch with. So Manu, how are you? And thanks for coming to Back to Basics.
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So before we get into the basics of the topic today and everything else, what does Back to Basic mean to you?
Well, back to basics means, doing things with the pragmatism. What I found in my life, in my journey, is most people try to complicate things when they want to get to a goal. The first thing is they don't even know what the goal is. So the first basic step in life or business is define that goal, be very clear on that goal, and then as you make progress towards that, use basic steps. Simplicity rules the world, right? The simpler you can make it, the more pragmatic you can make it, the better the chances you have to actually accomplish that goal quickly and easily.
Yeah, thank you so much. All the episodes that I've done so far, you know, it seems like it's easy to say to make it simple, but
Mm.
it's really honestly tough, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you have to train people to make them understand as to what the artificial intelligence is, in this case, the technology side of things. Am I right
Yeah,
or wrong in that?
absolutely, absolutely. I think it's a human nature. Like to talk about simplicity, you really need to understand what simplicity means for other people as well, because what is simple for you is very complicated for somebody else. So, in other words, it is when you say to somebody you need to use simple stuff, you are saying you need to be able to understand other human beings, and that is the toughest challenge, that people don't take the time to understand and be curious about other human beings. Once you get into that mode, simplicity starts to get it starts to enter every area of your life, because now you are doing things which make sense to not only you but most of the people around you.
That's right. That's right. Thank you again for understanding, and thanks again for coming on my show. And I want everyone to understand that today we're going to talk about technology, but I we should be talking about that on Back to Basic Mode Business, which is the technology and marketing. But what we're actually doing today is a little different. We're going to be talking to you on the Back to Basic Mode trending item because technically that's what's trending nowadays, which is the artificial intelligence, and
Mhm.
that's why you're here today on my platform on a different podcast. So let me ask you this here: is AI really that simple? Let's put it that way. I mean, let's be honest here. It is really complicated as how people they define it. But is it really simple, or is it something that we need to learn about it?
Okay, so let me try to explain what AI is first, according to me, and then I'll dive into your answer. So basically, human beings are pattern recognizing machines. As we grow up from our childhood, we recognize the patterns, and then we learn what is the environment around us is saying based on our old pattern, and we take the action. So a good example could be, when you were a kid, if you touched a hot stove, you will learn, oh, you shouldn't touch the hot stove. So that is one data point entering into our mind, and our mind learning the pattern that, okay, hot stove, don't touch, right? But when we put ourselves in a different situation, let's say we are in a very cold country, Antarctica, in the tundra, wind is blowing, really chilly wind is blowing. We have heat resistant gloves on, and now if I touch the stove, it actually feels pleasant. It feels warm. So now our mind, it recognizes three or four more data points, and it says, okay, if it's really cold out there, and if you're wearing heat resistant gloves, it may be okay to touch the stove. And so now our mind becomes smarter. It learns another pattern. But then at some point, let's say if you start making more and more complicated situations, our mind stops to understand the patterns. It can only handle maybe 10 to 12 to maybe 15 different variables in any given situation. Beyond that, if you want to solve a very complex problem, let's say, you want to predict the weather, you want to say, how do I find a cure to cancer, how do I solve climate change, these are very complicated problems, and our mind is not able to, like, find those patterns in real life. And our machines are capable of ingesting humongous amounts of data and finding very minute patterns in that data. So that's where artificial intelligence comes in. And to answer your question now, if you have that basic understanding of the human mind, and you know now that how do machines work, how they complement and supplement the human cognitive abilities, then you don't really need to understand the inner workings of AI. Just
Mm.
like, when you drive a car, like I drive the car and I have no idea what is, how does the engine work, where does the, how, I mean, I know at high level, but I have no idea, like, how everything is put together. If it breaks down, I take it to the mechanic and I say, hey, just fix it, here is your payment, and off I go. It's the same thing with AI as a technology. Unless you are actually, like, building AI systems or those type of things, you don't need to know how it actually works, but you just need to know how you can use it to your advantage, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you again for that. The example that you gave about the climate and not touching the stove, which is really hot or really cold, depending on the temperature of the stove, right?
Yeah.
But that's by human senses, right? And but the thing is that artificial intelligence, in a way, if you think about it, it's really dumb, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
we
Well,
actually have to input that data in there.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
what
mhm,
are your thoughts on that? Because people are thinking that AI is the way to go, which is totally fine. And I'm going to get to that second point now,
mhm,
is that there's a difference between AI versus automation.
mhm,
So
mhm, mhm.
now, what are your thoughts on that part?
See, the thing is that before ChatGPT was released, meaning a large language model was released, AI systems were really dumb because they could do only one thing, and that's it. They could not, like, let's say I created an AI algorithm to recognize pictures and something specific in the picture. Let's say, we are making Google Live, that Google Earth Live view, and we are taking a lot of pictures and we need to sort out the best looking picture. I can create an AI algorithm for that, but that AI algorithm will not be able to do anything else. Let's say, if I introduce a cat picture and I say, okay, recognize the cats in this picture, that AI algorithm is not going to be able to do that. In that aspect, AI algorithms are very dumb. As you said, they just consume the data and then they find the patterns in that data, and they can give us a answer to a specific question. But with ChatGPT, it is showing the signs of what we call general artificial intelligence, meaning artificial intelligence that can do any task. It doesn't need to be trained first. It doesn't need to be, like, given a special algorithm, special data. It can do any task just like a human can do. And if it doesn't know something, it can go out there and learn it. And ChatGPT is quite further away from artificial general intelligence, but it is showing the signs of what a general artificial intelligence will look like or feel like. because now it can do the work of mathematician. It can do give you medical advice, legal advice. Not that you should take it without any due diligence. But the point is the versatility of this platform shows you that AI is at a point where it can start to compete with human mind.
Thank you again. And you gave an example of a mechanic, you going to the mechanic and fixing the car, right? But Chat GPT, let me give you an example. Let's say if my engine is not working correctly, or the sound is not there, or whatever it is, right? And that's what you type in. Now, ChatGPT is going to give you results as to what ChatGPT thinks. That's what it is, right? It's not going to tell you how to go and fix it. So you still need to go to YouTube or some video or something to find out how to fix it.
Yeah.
So I think we're still getting there. But what are your thoughts on that part?
See, the thing is that every technology takes some time to develop. Like, we are literally 6 months away from the release of this technology, right? If you compare internet as like an online industry, as an industry, as a sector, internet became mainly like accessible to people around 1990s, so maybe like 25 years ago, right?
Yes.
Compare this to other industries, like automobile industry has been around for 120 years. Construction industry has been around for millennia. Oil, gas, energy industries have been around for hundreds of years. So they have matured for a long time. And so, to answer your question, yes, today a chat gpt will give you 80% of the material that you need, and then 20% you need to do your own research. But compare that to even few months ago, before ChatGPT, you had to start from scratch all your research on watching YouTube, and then sifting through a lot of videos and saying, okay, I don't know if it's an engine problem, I don't know if it's a brake problem, whatever it is. But with ChatGPT, at least you get a bulk of that direction, that intelligence, that you don't have to spend your energy on now, and then just go to right to the end solution, or we find out the few steps that ChatGPT cannot do. That being said, just wait a year or so. I'm pretty sure there's going to be systems available which can generate a video on the fly of the scenario that you're looking for, right? So you can expect to see full movies being made by AI, full TV series being made by AI. Imaginary these tutorial videos made by AI on the fly. So all these solutions are going to come in due time.
Yeah, thank you again for that. They're really as simple as even um, a gimbal, a gyro for your camera or for your phone. AI is actually following you,
Mm.
and making that video really nice and crisp,
Mhm.
right? So we don't even need professional videographers anymore, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's just what AI is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you this, and I'm going to ask you this question again, and I don't think we got the answer. Is what is the difference between AI versus automation? Because I think
Oh,
they're
yeah, yeah.
two
Sorry,
different
sorry.
things.
Yeah, yeah,
They're two
absolutely,
different
absolutely.
things here.
See, automation can be automation doesn't need any intelligence. So what do I mean by that? So let's say, in your business, there is a process which takes some raw material, does some processing on it, and then puts it to be dispatched to the client. Now, here there is absolutely no intelligence needed. It's a repetitive process. There is nothing going on that a human needs to make a decision, or there needs to be like a some sort of thinking involved here. It's a purely mechanical process, and I can automate each step separately or as a whole process, and then just say, okay, the human interaction is removed, from this process, and it's all fully automated. Now, there may be another scenario where this process of taking the raw material, it may involve intelligence, meaning it may need a decision as to, is this raw material uh, first, high grade, medium grade, or low grade. Based on that, with the low grade we will produce a different product, with the medium grade we'll do a different product, and so on, and right. So now we are now entering the world of, okay, who is going to make this decision? Is the human going to make this decision? What is that decision based on? Is the human going to need training for that? what is their experience level that needs to be there, how fast they need to make a decision, what happens if that decision is incorrect. All of these things need human intelligence.
Mm,
But we can say, okay, um, we have to process 2000 items every hour. A human is not able to do this. So what are the options? We can either create more assembly lines, we can hire more humans, or we can take some of the decision making that the human is doing, and we can start to train our system, our artificial intelligence, which can make the decision on behalf of the human. The
mm,
rest of the process still remains the same. So
mm.
we can have automation, we can have manual processes, but here is a decision that needs to be made. So that can be replaced by artificial intelligence, and it can be supplemented, or it can be totally replaced by AI. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Thank you again for that. Uh, let me ask you this, because it seems like a lot of people are thinking that we are getting lazy day by day. Okay, the reason why I'm saying this is that there's a certain time my blinds are going to go on. There's a certain time my lights are going to go on and off. Okay. There's a certain time that my sprinkler system is going to give water because I'm saving water. There's
Hmm.
a different time that my swimming pool is going to turn on and off at the same time. So
Hmm.
now my question is, do you think, and even remotes for that matter, turning
Hmm.
on the TV and turning back off, right? Back in the
Hmm.
days, I used to, my dad used to tell me to go to the remote and you change the channel. Those are the
Hmm.
days that when we grew up, right?
Hmm.
So do you think today we're making decisions intelligently to save money somewhere, or do you think that we're getting lazy day by day?
I think it's both. The thing is, every new technology is invented to improve whatever environment we are living in. So it improve our physical abilities, improve our moods, improve our living conditions, whatever that is. So AI is all these technologies that you mentioned. They're basically for our convenience. We seek convenience as human beings. That is our desire, comfort, luxury. I mean, these are innate in us. Why do I say they are innate in us? Because let's go back to the beginning of time, when we were living in the caves, right? So when we were living in the caves, we said, okay, we need to go out there and hunt for food. But one day our ancestors decided, we are killing these small animals, we have to do this every day. Why don't we kill a big animal, and we'll store it in our cave for 30 days, and we don't have to go out at all after that. So that's being lazy, isn't it? That is innate in our evolution, that we want to invent things, we want to do things, so that once we do it, we sort of we automate it, we leave it aside, and then we can rest, because that is sort of what we want as species. But the flip side is, in order to achieve that luxury, we become creative, we become industrious, we become entrepreneurial, and we say, okay, I know I have a problem now, that is coming in my way, to enjoy life the way I want to enjoy it. So how do I solve that problem, not only for me but for others? And that's sort of the whole, seed of entrepreneurship,
Mm,
of creativity. Make
mm.
sense?
Yeah,
So
yeah. No,
so in that sense, yeah. So in that sense, in one way, yes, we are becoming lazy, but in other ways, now we are gaining more powers in terms of multiplying our ability to think, multiplying our ability to do more stuff with less headaches, less mistakes, and those type of things. So it's evolution is always a give and take. But I think on the scales, if you measure it, we always get more, because that's how we progress as species, right?
Yeah, thank you again. And I think the word that we should be using, not lazy, but I think we're looking for comfort. I think maybe
Yeah,
that's what it is, right? I think
yeah,
that's just a
yeah.
human tendency. So
Mhm.
thank you again for that. There's a new segment that we started on season 3 for Back to Basics, which is a rapid fire round. In this
Mhm.
rapid fire round, there's some words and sentences, whatever it is, whatever
Mhm.
pops in your head, we'll just go from there. How about that?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Awesome. So the first word or the sentence is going to be AI versus ChatGPT. What are your thoughts on that?
They're pretty much synonymous at this point, right now. There are nuances, but they are synonymous for most people right now.
Okay. AI versus automation.
Automation can be part of AI can be part of an automation, but you can automate pretty much everything even without AI.
Okay. AI versus humans.
Uh, AI is going to augment humans, not replace humans.
Okay. Old patterns versus new patterns.
Old patterns are wisdom, new patterns are things which help us invent new things.
Okay. If you had a choice, if you had to unlearn something, what would that be?
Uh, h- how how to only look at my point of view. I want to unlearn that as much as possible. It's still a process, but
Okay. What
yeah.
would you want to relearn?
Being playful and being um, worry free.
Okay. Um, so now, what are your thoughts on emotions when it comes to AI?
See, the way that our world is working right now, we always value the power of thinking, the power, cognitive powers. So we pay, high salaries to CEOs who can connect the dots, who can see opportunities, right? So now AI will be able to do that much better, right? So the cognitive abilities will not be as valuable moving forward because the machines will be able to do that much better. So what is left is emotions. So in my opinion, as AI systems take over the world, the
Hmm.
thinking part of our living will be offloaded to the machines. And I think the more emotional connection, the more empathetic connections, uh, the human qualities, the soft skills, they will become more important now moving forward.
Okay. Okay. How about the movie Terminator? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting depiction, but it's a reflection of how humans are always afraid of the unknown.
Okay. Centralized database. What are your thoughts on that?
Centralized database, it has its merits, but I think now we are moving way away from it to like more distributed systems.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you had a movie to define AI, which one would that be?
um
And if I say movie, I mean even a TV show too, for that
yeah,
matter.
yeah. Interestingly enough, I will say Avatar. There are, that's sort of like the good depiction of what AI can be, the fusion of AI
Mm.
and the mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, let me ask you, who are you? What are you, if you don't mind? I want people to understand who you are, if you don't mind.
What basically, okay, so I am a, uh, uh, how do I define? I am a student of technology. I'm a student of human consciousness. I'm a student of neuroscience. And what I do is I mix these modalities, these fields of knowledge to create some creative solutions for businesses, for other individuals, other business people, and so the idea is to solve uh, big big problems for humanity the using multi disciplinary sort of approach,
Mm.
specifically combining technology and neuroscience.
Okay. And the last word for the rapid fire round, which is back to basics. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, it is what it is, so make the best of it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you again for playing the rapid fire round, even though that it was a
Mhm.
little extra, but that's okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you
Sorry,
for
sorry about that.
so let me ask you this, right? I mean,
Mhm.
we have talked about what we know about AI, what we know about automation, because automation could
Mhm.
be even an Excel sheet for that matter, or even Tesla doing an auto drive, right? Um, do you think that the things that we're doing today, okay, automation driving and things around the house and turning on the light and even for your work, for your programming and developing, do you think that we're going a little overboard, or do you think that it's good to create these tools to help us be a better person in life?
Um, See, okay, so as I was describing earlier, everybody has their own preference. So somebody thought it was a big enough problem for them that they didn't want to switch the light on and off. So they said, okay, I want to make it voice enabled. So they made a mechanism to automate that. Now, as a consumer, it is your decision whether you like it or not. The tendency generally is that once people find the convenience in a product and it suits their values, their core values, it doesn't like sort of go against their belief system, then that technology becomes more adopted. So in this case, I find it convenient that if the machine is taking care of some of the things, but again, the word lazy comes in. Like I can say I'm lazy in that respect, that if these things are taken care of, like I free up my mind to do other things.
Mm,
Um, so if you believe this is okay, then I fully support that. But if it goes against your belief, let's say if you start using automation and inside you're feeling, oh, like I'm becoming lazy, what then that technology may not be good. Like, try to be true to yourself. you know
of course, of course. Yeah, thank you again. Is there a AI or technology or even an automation that it's helping you as a
Mm.
person, from an entrepreneur, from a learning point of view, or even your corporate life? I mean, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
yeah, absolutely. We use Chat GPT every day. We use other tools, Mid Journey for some graphic stuff. I mean, we have been doing AIs for last 15 years. So we actually built our own system similar. I mean, not exactly like ChatGPT, but solving similar problems. But now with all these tools available, we've been using OpenAI systems for the last 3 years actually. So we were the early, we signed up for the early beta and everything, even the products before ChatGPT. But today, yeah, we use a whole bunch of tools for various purposes. But ChatGPT, I think, is the granddaddy of all of them.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you again, Manu, for coming here on Back to Basics and sharing a little knowledge of whatever you have about AI or even ChatGPT or even automation, and
Mhm.
what do we see and what do we not see. I mean that's just what it is.
Mhm.
Uh, but let me ask you this before you leave today: how is your journey on Back to Basics, and if you have any last words to my Back to Basic listeners?
I think I think you have done an amazing job. You have a way to like drive the conversation, and you know your audience so well. So I think that is the most important thing, when a host understands their audience and they can sort of extract that for their audience.
Hmm.
That's amazing, and I
Thank
think you're doing such an amazing job. So keep it up.
Thank you, thank you, thank you again for coming on Back to Basics and supporting me, and and sharing a little knowledge or whatever knowledge you have into this platform. So thank you again for coming here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, thanks.
So, guys, we spoke with our guest today, didn't we? And we talked about ChatGPT. We talked about AI. I mean, honestly speaking, it is definitely getting overboard because everyone is saying hashtag this, hashtag that. But the thing is that you need to understand what the basics are when it comes to technology. Because just like what he's just said, people are definitely going to be selling you stuff, whatever it is. But is it really needed? That's up to you to decide. Do your homework and see what happens. Now, as usual, as always, there is a quote of the day, and hopefully our guest will like the quote of the day. The quote is: it's going to be interesting to see how society deals with artificial intelligence, but it will definitely be cool. Because honestly, automation is definitely cool. Come on, be real. And robotics is definitely cool. You know, automation everywhere around the house is definitely cool. But now the main question is it really needed? That's another thing. Now, as usual, as always, what do we always say at the end of the episode? Everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, season's almost over. Please do support me. Take care, God bless, and I will see you next week on Back to Basics.
Well, you're such a pro at this. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Been doing this for a while now. Thank you.
No, no, it's Well, a lot of people have been doing it for a long time, but you do it well.
Guys,
So
thank you again for tuning in to Back to Basics and listening to the excellent episode that we had today with our guest. With your love and support, we do need you to at least rate our show, review our show, because it does make us stronger day by day, week by week, as I usually say on my episodes. And there are three things in this episode that it makes a hit for me, which is the content, the guest, and definitely the host. So guys, take care, God bless, and remember, everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, take care, God bless, and see you next time on Back to Basics.